In Activity 7, Measuring Melting Points, students first measure and compare the melting points of two solids, ice and butyl stearate. Students then conclude that different types of matter have different melting points. That is, different types of matter change state from solid to liquid at different temperatures. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 7, Celsius thermometers, plain tumblers, reclosable bags 10 centimeters by 15 centimeters, butyl stearate bottles, ice bucket, and pails. You will also need to provide a clock, crushed ice, long-handled ladles, paper towels, and tap water. To prepare for the activity, make a copy of Activity Sheet 7 for each student. Obtain or prepare enough crushed ice to fill each team's plastic bag about 1/4 full, and reseal the bags and store them in the ice bucket. You will also need enough crushed ice to fill one of the pails about half full. Draw a class data chart like the one shown in Figure 7.1. Label it Activity 7 Class Data Chart. At room temperature, the butyl stearate will be a mixture of solid and liquid. To thaw the butyl stearate, place the bottles in a pail of warm water. Fill each plastic bag about 1/4 full with the liquid for each team, reseal the bags, and place them into the pail of ice water for about 20 minutes to solidify. For best results, pack the ice loosely around the bags. Set up a distribution station with 6 pails of warm water, 2 ladles, and paper towels. Each team of 2 will need a plastic bag containing crushed ice, a plastic bag containing butyl stearate, 2 thermometers, and 2 tumblers. To begin the activity, distribute the materials and a couple of paper towels to each team of 2. Caution students that none of the materials used in science class should ever be tasted, touched, or smelled without permission from you. Ask the class, in which state is the matter in each bag? The students should respond that both are in a solid state. Tell students that one bag contains ice and the other contains a substance called butyl stearate, a substance whose melting and freezing point is about room temperature. Review with the class the concepts of melting, heat, and temperature, and remind students that a thermometer measures temperature. Give each student a copy of Activity Sheet 7 and have teams come to the distribution station and use the ladles to fill their tumblers about 1/3 full with warm water. Instruct students to open the seal of each bag just wide enough to insert the thermometer and to set the thermometer deep into the bag so that the bulb is buried in the solid. Have students then reseal the bags to enclose the thermometers and place each bag into a tumbler of warm water. Make sure to remind the class to work carefully so that the bags are not punctured. Next, have students read the temperature on the thermometer inside each bag and record it on the first line of the chart on the activity sheet. Also, have students observe and record the appearance of the material in each bag. Then, have them record the temperature and appearance of the materials every 3 or 4 minutes until the material in each bag has melted. After the students have recorded their final temperatures, have them record the temperatures for each material on the class data chart. Ask, "What do you notice about the final temperatures for the ice?" The student should reply that the final temperatures for ice are all about the same. They should also see that, at this temperature, the ice is melting. Then ask, "What do you notice about the final temperatures for the butyl stearate?" Students should remark that, similarly, the final temperatures for butyl stearate are all about the same and it is melting. Urge students to remember that heat must be added to the solids in order to melt them. Explain to students that the melting point of a substance is the temperature at which it melts or changes from a solid to a liquid. Point out that all substances melt at a certain exact temperature. Ask students, "What is the melting point of ice and butyl stearate?" Students should conclude that ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius and that butyl stearate melts at 20 degrees Celsius. Help students to see that the ice and butyl stearate change to liquids at different temperatures, and therefore different materials can have different melting points. Tell the students that the melting point of a substance is a characteristic property of that substance, and tell them that all ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and all butyl stearate melts at 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Explain that, because of this fact, one unknown substance can be distinguished from another based on differences in their melting points. Conversely, 2 unknown substances, similar in appearance and behavior, that have the same melting point are most likely the same substance. Finally, Review with the class that the melting point of a substance is the temperature at which it changes from a solid to a liquid, and that melting points of different solids are different. To conclude the activity, remove the thermometers and reseal the bags with the butyl stearate. Pour out the water and ice from all containers and bags. When all materials are dry, return them to the kit. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.